Hello, and welcome to Dun Bradstreet and the Food and Drug Administration's joint web presentation for industry to discuss the Biennial Food Facility Registration Renewal process. Today, we will be discussing key topics and information at a high level relevant to ensuring that your food facility registration is accurate and acceptable by the Food and Drug Administration. We look forward to today's presentation, providing you with some information and the education necessary to provide a smooth renewal process. For today's introduction and agenda, we will be covering the following: definitions of some acronyms you will encounter as part of the registration process, an overview of the FDA Food Facility Registration Module, or FFRM, requirements, specific renewal requirements, such as the deadline for submission and how to go about submitting your registration for renewal, who exactly needs to register as part of this process, and entities that do not need to submit a registration, how to go about acquiring or updating an existing Dun & Bradstreet DUNS number registration, some of the common errors we see as part of the registration process that can lead to delays or sometimes rejections when you're looking to receive a valid FFR number, how to use this information to receive your unique facility identifier, or UFI for short, some specific points of contact and email addresses to utilize within the FDA and at Dun & Bradstreet. And finally, we'll cover a few frequently asked questions that we encounter as part of the process. By way of introduction, my name is Tim Strickland. I am an account executive here at Dun & Bradstreet. I support the FDA through our partnership, and I'm joined today by Rachel Gomez with the FDA's Center for Applied Food Safety and Nutrition. Rachel?
Thanks, Tim. Let's start off by going through some common acronyms. First, we have FFR for Food Facility Registration and FFRM, which is Food Facility Registration Module. This is the actual platform that you go to submit your FFR. Next, we have the UFI, Unique Facility Identifier. Currently, the only acceptable UFI is a DUNS number. DUNS number is short for Data Universal Number System. This is the number assigned to your business registration from Dun & Bradstreet that you will need to acquire or update prior to submitting your renewal information. ISP, the Import Safety Lookup Portal. This is the online lookup used for searching, creating, updating, and obtaining your DUNS number. Pending confirmation registration status. The FDA is still in the process of reviewing your UFI and FFR submission. FFR number versus FFR code. An FFR reference code is a 9-digit number that indicates the submission was received by FDA and is pending acceptance and review. Once completed and accepted, you will receive an FFR number. Who needs a registration? Per 21 CFR 1.227, all food facilities are required to register. A facility means any establishment, structure, or structures under one ownership at one general physical location, or in the case of a mobile facility, traveling to multiple locations that manufacture, process, pack, or hold food for consumption in the United States. These facilities are required to submit an initial registration with the FDA and renew that registration during each biennial renewal year, which is even-numbered years. The renewal period begins on October 1st, 2024 and ends December 31st, 2024. On a side note, if you have submitted a qualified facility attestation as per 21 CFR 1.117, after you complete your FFR renewal, you will need to reattest as a qualified facility. We have listed the steps below to help you navigate FIS in submitting this. Who does not need a registration? A foreign facility if food from such facility undergoes further manufacturing processing by another facility outside the United States. Farms, retail food establishments, restaurants, nonprofit food establishments, fishing vessels where there's no additional processing taking place, and facilities that are regulated exclusively by USDA under the Federal Meat Inspection Act or Poultry Products Inspection Act. I strongly encourage you to review the Q&A at the link below and the definitions in 21 CFR 1.227. Who can register my facility? The registration must be submitted by the owner, operator, or agent in charge of the facility. An individual identified as an authorized agent of that facility may also submit a registration on the facility's behalf. Remember, there is no fee to register with either FDA or Dun Bradstreet. While third-party organizations exist to assist with management of the registration process, the actual registration is at no cost to industry. If you need to submit a new registration or update an existing registration, below are the steps for you. You would first log into FIS, and then you click on Food Facility Registration, and from there you can select Register a Food Facility to submit a new FFR, or Update Facility Registration to update an existing FFR. We have also listed our step-by-step user guides to help you navigate through the system. Now, the most important part, how do we renew the FFR? First, you're going to log into the FIS. You're going to click on Food Facility Registration, and then you will see Biennial Registration Renewal 2024. From here, you will click, and the system will display a list of all your registrations that are available or due for renewal. To complete the renewal process, select the registration number hyperlink within the table, and the system will then display the registration review screen. From here, you're going to review your facility information to ensure it's up to date. Only sections of the registration with an edit button displayed next to it may be updated during the renewal process. If you need to update other sections of your FFR, return to the main menu and select Update Facility Registration prior to renewing. Review your UFI number record to ensure the information is complete and accurate. If you do not already have an existing UFI, or if you need to update an existing UFI, this portion will be covered by D&B in the next section. Once you have reviewed the information and made any other updates as necessary, submit your changes to complete the renewal process. We're also available to assist you during this renewal time. You can contact us via email at frills@fda.gov or via phone, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, excluding federal holidays. I'm going to turn it back over to you, Tim, if you could please cover the DUNS number portion of our webinar.
Thanks so much for the great and helpful information, Rachel. Next, we will discuss how to go about acquiring or updating an existing unique facility identifier by obtaining a DUNS number for your facility. Keep in mind that each facility must have its own unique DUNS number to be accepted into the FFR. As Rachel mentioned, the FDA currently recognizes the DUNS number as the only acceptable information to obtain that unique facility identifier. The DUNS number is a unique 9-digit numeric identifier that is assigned to each individual facility as a form of that facility's identification. The UFI is used by the FDA to verify specifics of facility information and must match exactly to the information on the food facility registration. It's important to keep this in mind, so that's why I keep drilling it. Any discrepancies can lead to a delay or a rejection of your facility's FFR. So again, if creating or updating an existing DUNS number, ensure that each piece of information from business name, address, city, state, province, and country, and more match exactly what is provided to the FDA. To make this process easy, and it's come up a few times, Dun Bradstreet maintains a straightforward web portal to access your DUNS number information called the Import Safety Lookup Portal. This can be accessed at the URL provided here, which we'll provide as a leave behind after today's presentation, and this will take you to the Import Safety Portal homepage. That Import Safety Registration Portal can be used to look up an existing DUNS number registration. For example, did you know that millions of companies already have a DUNS number and maybe just don't know it? So it's a great place to start to see if your company has already been assigned a DUNS number. You can also use this portal to make updates or corrections to an existing registration. You can create a new DUNS for a unique facility, and you can check the status of an existing request. The Import Safety Portal is the primary point of access for all DUNS number related inquiries when it comes to working with the FDA. If you have any questions or encounter any technical issues, you can also submit those all through the portal. which I'll cover in this next slide. So as you'll see in this screenshot, once you have logged into the Import Safety Portal, we've created these icons to accelerate ease of use to address all issues pertaining to your company's DUNS number. The DUNS number lookup button, which is highlighted on this slide here, should be the first place to start for all information pertaining to your facility's DUNS number. The other icons keep it simple to make any additional updates to your company's registration. You can make any updates or corrections to your DUNS information. You can create a new DUNS number. You can also upload a batch of businesses if you have multiple branches or subsidiaries that you would like to register at once. Or again, you can check on the status of an existing request. We do ask that you allow 5 business days prior to submitting a status request, as we find the majority of our DUNS number requests are resolved within that time frame. Lastly, you'll see that button that says Other Question. This is our support portal. So if you have any questions that you would like to directly address through our ticketing system, feel free to submit those here and our team will take a look and get back to you. Next, we're going to cover a few of the common mistakes that we see when submitting a registration through the Import Safety Registration Portal. And again, these types of discrepancies or mistakes can lead to sometimes costly delays in receiving an approved UFI and subsequent FFR number. These include not using the correct authorized agent or shipper information, as Rachel covered in her registration requirements portion, utilizing the incorrect location when submitting your registration. We often see companies utilize the headquarters address information when they're registering a subsidiary or branch location. So it's important to use that specific address of the physical location of that branch or subsidiary. If you utilize the headquarters, that could cause some errors. We often see mismatches in the business name and addresses. There's some examples below here. Make sure you're using the facility's legal name and not a trade style or a DBA or doing business as. Ensure that the address in the fields and that you've populated in the FFR module and the DUNS number registration match exactly. And ensure that you're including all relevant address details as well. If there's a unit number or a suite number, if you're in a specific region, territory, state, or province, each country has its own specific rules for these portions of the address, or missing zip or mail code information. And again, I highlighted it, but some of the specific examples we see, St. Louis versus St. Louis can cause an issue. If the street name on your legal business registration spells out avenue or street, and you're using ST or AVE as an abbreviation, that can cause some issues. Also, as I mentioned, if you're in a country that has a specific province or region or department that your facility is located in, ensure that that matches exactly between the Import Safety Portal and the Food Facility Registration module. For more information and who to contact within Dun & Bradstreet, we provided this information for your review. Keep in mind that website portal, that Import Safety Registration URL that's included here, is your one-stop shop for any questions you have related to your UFI or DUNS number. And as Rachel mentioned earlier, registering, updating, or confirming DUNS number registration for each facility is at no cost to that facility. While there are third-party organizations that do assist with DUNS number and FFR registrations, completing this process through Dun & Bradstreet and through the FDA does not incur a fee to your organization. Next, we have some quick FAQs, and Rachel, perhaps you could cover the first portion, and then I'll talk about some of the questions we get around the turnaround time for the DUNS number.
Thanks, Tim. A common question that we receive is, what do I do if there's a change in ownership? If there's a change in ownership, a new FFR must be submitted and the DUNS number requires an update. The next one is, how do I know if my DUNS and FFR are the same? You can review your DUNS number and FFR Section 2 information according to the table below to make updates as needed.
And then the question we often receive on the D&B side is, what is the turnaround time to receive a DUNS number? We talked about it a little bit in that status request button on the Import Safety Lookup portal, but just to keep in mind that if you're registering a US-based company, typically you'll receive that DUNS number within 5 business days. For international cases, which I know would be the majority completing this biannual registration process, that's typically completed within 14 business days. When we look at the statistics, Dun & Bradstreet completes just over 99% of these registrations within 30 business days. But keep in mind that turnaround time as we look at the October 1 to December 31 timeframe. And this will lead us to our final slide for today. You do not need to wait until the biennial registration process begins to update or confirm your registration. So as one last reminder, now is the time to log into the DNB Import Safety Portal to register a new DUNS number or make updates to your existing DUNS number registration for each facility that your organization manages. Additionally, be sure to log into your existing FIS account, or if you need to create a new one, begin that process to either complete any updates to your registration or confirm that there have been no changes to your registration. Again, there is no need to wait until the period begins to complete this information. On behalf of the Food and Drug Administration and Dun Bradstreet, I want to first say thank you so much to Rachel for providing her time and expertise on today's topic. We will begin to cover some more in-depth registration processes in the near future, but today, again, we wanted to cover the high-level registration requirements and ensure that you as industry know where to go to get your questions answered and ensure a smooth and compliant registration renewal process. Thanks again, and we wish you a great rest of your day.